Alright, so I get comments like this all the time. I don't know why it doesn't let me bring it to the center of the screen, but if for some reason it gets blocked off, it says, I really want to know where to get Ghost cosplay. I also get a lot of people that ask where I get my gear from when I do this cosplay, and I think that that's like a barrier in between people that want to do kind of tactical cosplays, and they just don't because they don't know where to start. So this is why I'm kind of making this video for. If you're specifically wanting to kind of get into Ghost cosplay and whatnot, this is just going to be kind of like a short video going over that. Now, what I highly recommend is you go over to Google, and then you type into Google the unofficial Modern Warfare cosplay guide, and then 3 down, you're going to see a Tumblr, Cosplay Guide 2.0. And when you go to that, it's going to bring you to this Tumblr page by ShadeOps21. They kind of go over a little bit of like explaining on what they do and whatnot, but then they link the PDF to this. Now, they're saying here it only covers story characters for now, but they do plan on going into NPC factions and multiplayer operators in the future, whenever that happens. But this goes over a lot of information about all the characters and the gear that they use and that kind of stuff. Like, this is what I did for my most recent Desert Rat Ghost cosplay, is I went to this and like pieced stuff out in order to make it look, you know, very similar to this. Like, I still don't have this knife holster, but like I try to make it look as similar as possible, and they break it down. As you can see, like they break it down, they point to everything here. It's really easy to understand. I highly recommend this is what you start with, at least. Now, that just goes over the gear. If you're trying to cosplay Ghost, of course, you're going to have to look at a mask. So what do you do when it comes to the mask? Well, there's a few different options. If you have a 3D printer and an access to the files in order to print this off yourself, then you could always do that and then hand sew it to a balaclava, do the painting and that kind of stuff. That's always an option. But if you don't have access to that, then you're going to have to buy it from someone else. That's what I did. I do not have a 3D printer, so I bought my masks from someone else. There are a few different options, of course, in terms of mask makers. I have Sazera, a few different Sazera masks, actually. They're always really good quality. Keep in mind, they don't look exactly one-to-one, you know, like Ghost's mask does, because it's a little bit of a stylistic difference, but it still looks absolutely amazing, as you can see here. And there are a few other people that go for the more kind of like realistic and like lore-friendly looking mask. Printfinity is one of them. They do make a kind of more realistic to Ghost himself kind of mask. And then, as some of you might have seen, Cindy Genesis also makes one. These are actually my pictures. That's me. So I got a mask from her in order to do some of the pictures and whatnot, and it is also a really amazing mask. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit closer to the actual look of his mask and not the actual stylistic choice, those are going to be really your 2 best options, in my opinion, for that. Now, backing up a little bit and going back to the gear itself, I do get questions on, okay, well, where do you get the gear? And there's a few different answers for that. There's a few different ways that I get it. And the best example of that is looking at the Desert Rat kit, because a lot of the stuff that's in this I got from a lot of different places. For example, the actual holster part, so the Condor Outdoor Rapid Assault Chest Rig, that I actually got directly from Condor, so that one is like the actual one that he uses. But a lot of the stuff that's on here is not, you know, how they say it over here. Like, for example, these like radio pouches and like some of the AR taco mags. Or not mags, but the pouches. Those are like $50 a piece, maybe $40 a piece, and I didn't particularly want to do that. So I just got something that's kind of similar to that off of Amazon, and it costs like not even half the price. It was like significantly cheaper, and it might not be exactly the same thing, but it's pretty close, you know? It's close to what is being used. Also, that's my bird being angry. I apologize. You can see right next to that, he has these 2 pistol mag pouches that are right next to the radio and the M4 pouch. This I literally got from a military surplus store, and I got it, this was like $8 or something like that for this Molly pouch. So that's another place you can also get things. If you have military surplus stores that are close to you, definitely take a look at that, because sometimes they sell like boxes of these pouches that they're not using, and you can get them for a pretty good price. And then these magazines that are in here themselves are actually airsoft mags. I didn't get real M4 mags because I didn't think that conventions would let me in with them, so I got airsoft ones. And these I get off of airsoft websites like eVike or Taiwan Gun. You can go there as well, but that's probably the best place. You can even look on Amazon if you wanted to for these, but those are kind of where I got these, was off of eVike. So those are the 4 main places that I go to when it comes to actually finding the gear that I use for cosplay. Also, anytime that you see them using like NVGs, so like these GP NVG 18s, literally just go on Amazon and search like dummy night vision goggles or like specifically GP NVG 18s. You're not going to be getting any real ones. Those are of course way too expensive. So that's what I recommend for that. That's another thing. The clothing itself, kind of like these, and then a little bit in the Desert Rat one as well. They use Cry in a lot of instances. Cry clothing is very, very expensive. Like $200 to $300 just for a pair of pants. So please, for the love of God, and unless you have a shit ton of money that you're willing to just burn on this, do not do that. Yeah, $200 for a shirt. You can literally go onto Amazon and just search, for example, if you're doing the Desert Rat one, brown tactical shirt. And there it is for $32. So please, for the love of God, unless you want actual tactical gear that you're going to be using for tactical purposes and you have a shit ton of money in order to do it, don't go with the Cry ones. You can get something that's very similar for significantly less. And you can literally do the same thing for the pants as well, just tactical, whatever color or camo that you want, and then pants. And then there's going to be a lot of different options, and they're not going to be $300 or $200 for those. So please, for the love of God, do this. It'll save you a lot of money. I think that's really all I can think of adding now, in terms of like a guide to this. So if you guys have any other questions, or if I didn't cover anything, feel free to comment on here and I'll go ahead and reply to it. Or if you get any other questions about things or you're curious about things in terms of my gear or my cosplay, go ahead and just let me know down there. And yeah.